Hi, I'm back with another vlog. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Quentin Crisp. So this video was requested by Forever 21 Me, so thank you for sending me the request, and I hope you like the video. So Quentin Crisp is a legendary personality who was originally from the UK and moved to the United States in the latter years of his life. Nelson Sullivan had a run-in with Quentin Crisp in 1998, which he filmed and is documented on YouTube in the video called Quentin Crisp Up Close and Personal at the Flaunted Club in 1988 Film Festival version. It was uploaded by 5 9th Avenue Project, and I will put the link in the description below if you'd like to check it out. So, Quentin Crisp was born Dennis Charles Pratt on Christmas Day in 1908. He changed his name to Quentin Crisp in his 20s after leaving home and cultivating his effeminate appearance to standards that both shocked contemporary Londoners and provoked homophobic attacks. So in his Wikipedia page, it says that he attempted to join the British Army after the outbreak of the Second World War, but was rejected and declared exempt by the medical board on the grounds that he was suffering from sexual perversion. He did remain in London throughout the rest of the war up until the 80s, finally moving to New York in 1981. In the intervening years, he never attempted any housework, writing famously in his memoir, The Naked Civil Servant, "After the first 4 years, the dirt doesn't get any worse." In 1975, the television version of the book, The Naked Civil Servant, that he wrote was broadcast on British and US television and made both him and actor John Hurt into stars. He devised a one-man show and began touring the country. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Quentin Crisp performed in several plays, television shows, and movies, including productions of Hamlet, The Bride, The Equalizer, and he was also the narrator of director Richard Kwajanowski's short film Ballad of Reading Gaol from 1988, which was based on the poem by Oscar Wilde. Wikipedia goes on to write that it was the 1990s that would prove to be Crisp's most prolific decade as an actor and more, as more directors offered him roles. He portrayed Elizabeth I in the film Orlando, had an uncredited cameo in the 1993 AIDS drama Philadelphia, and also in the 1995 movie To Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. Despite all these performances, Crisp was actually much more famous for his controversial statements on many issues, including gay liberation. In 2009, Peter Tatchell wrote a piece for The Advocate slamming Quentin Crisp in a commentary titled "Quentin Crisp was no gay hero." He describes only meeting Crisp once, but said in the brief encounter while he was wearing a gay liberation badge, prompted Quentin to retort, "What do you want liberation from?" He continued in a similar vein, dismissing the idea of gay pride. "What is there to be proud of? I don't believe in rights for homosexuals." He went on to slam homosexuality as, quote, "a terrible disease," saying, quote, "the world would be better without homosexuals." In 1997, he told The Times that he would advise parents to abort a fetus if it would be shown to be genetically predetermined to be gay. "If it can be avoided, I think it should be." Other notorious Crispisms include his suggestion that gay men are so self-centered that they are incapable of love and lack the capacity to care about the welfare of other people. This supposed lack of altruism is, according to Quentin, because most gay men have feminine minds. Tatchell goes on to write, echoing tin pot homophobes, Quentin disparaged homosexuality as an illness, affliction, burden, curse, and abnormality. He said he felt disfigured by his gayness. After The Naked Civil Servant, he had a celebrity and a public platform which was based entirely on his flamboyant homosexuality. Alas, he never spoke out for gay rights or supported any gay equality cause. He declined to endorse campaigns against homophobic discrimination and violence. Anti-gay politicians and preachers were never on the receiving end of his famously barbed wit. An Englishman in New York acknowledges that Crisp disgracefully dismissed AIDS as a fad at a time when thousands of gay men were dying and the US government was ignoring the epidemic. However, it ignores his ridiculing of the gay liberation movement and his dismissal of the struggle for lesbian and gay equal rights. So at the end of this, the author poses a rhetorical question: why did Quentin turn so bitter? Well, his answer was jealousy. He said he resented the fact that he was no longer unique, no longer the only visible queer in town, hence his loathing of gay liberation movement of the 1960s and 70s. It had encouraged and empowered the mass coming out of lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. They stole his limelight. Put bluntly, Crisp disliked being overtaken and overshadowed by other gays. Now, I think this brings up a couple of interesting points. Obviously, some of these quotes are quite extreme, and taken by today's standards would definitely be deemed unacceptable, at least here in Canada. However, during the 60s and 70s, Quentin Crisp was in his 60s and 70s, and I think even though he is gay, he was from a much different time when attitudes were a lot different. I don't think that is taken into account, not that I'm excusing his comments, but I think a lot of times we need to take into context the time in which people are saying the things that they're saying. Now, that being said, he's also controversial for another reason. Wikipedia writes, quote, Crisp was a stern critic of Diana, Princess of Wales, and her attempts to gain public sympathy following her divorce from Prince Charles. He stated, quote, I always thought Diana was such trash and got what she deserved. She was Lady Diana before she was Princess Diana, so she knew the racket. She knew that royal marriage had nothing to do with love. You marry a man and you stand beside him on public occasions and you wave, and for that you never have a financial worry until the day you die. Following her death in 1997, he made other controversial comments, which I'm not going to share here. I actually do find those comments quite offensive. So I feel a little bit differently about his comments about Diana. I think that is the first time I have ever heard anyone say anything bad about Princess Diana, so I found that quite shocking. I don't know really what the issue is, but yeah, you can check this out. It's in the Wikipedia page under the last year's heading. So Crisp died of a heart attack in November 1999, nearly 1 month before his 91st birthday, on the eve of a nationwide revival of his one-man show. He was cremated with a minimum of ceremony as he had requested, and his ashes were flown back to Philip Ward in New York. Sting dedicated his 1987 song Englishman in New York to Crisp. Sting says, quote, well, it's partly about me and partly about Quentin. Again, I was looking for a metaphor. Quentin is a hero of mine, someone I know very well. He is gay, and he was gay at a time in history when it was dangerous to be so. He had people beating up on him on a daily basis, largely with the consent of the public. Crisp was the subject of a photographic portrait by Herb Ritts and was also chronicled in Andy Warhol's diaries. So there is a lot more on Quentin Crisp. He was around for a long time, but for the sake of time, I'm going to leave it at that for today. I think he's definitely an interesting personality. I definitely understand why some people found him controversial. I really don't agree with a lot of his statements. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. That's pretty much all I have for you today. I want to thank you for watching like always, and feel free to like and comment. If you have not yet subscribed, you can do so by clicking the kitty, and I will see you again for my next upload.